Welcome to our history. Please make yourself comfortable. It all started on May 2nd, 1946. Miss Carl Bell, Frederick Drew, Héctor Ormachea, Ernesto Araníbar, Luis Barriga, Claudio Sanginés, and Bessie Beck founded the CBA, signing a binational agreement between Bolivia and the USA using money from a cultural fund called USIS. Our first office was at SKF Building, located downtown in La Paz. Things started to go well, so we had to move to our second office in 1950. It was located on the corner of Aspiazu and 6 de Agosto Avenues. October 7th, 1970. A black day in our history. What happened in 1970? There was a coup in our country. Military everywhere, people trying to escape, total chaos. Unfortunately, our institution was assaulted and taken by minors and university students. Many things, as books, electronic equipment that belonged to the language labs and library, were taken away during the coup. Once taken over, the CBA building was made a public school. Everything was lost, but hope. During those dark times, there was a hero, Mr. Raúl Barragán. Mr. Barragán risked his life to retrieve the CBA piano. This piano has become a symbol of tenacity, resilience, and hope. The comeback. Thanks to Daryl Smith, Norma de Moron, and Violeta Lavino, the CBA came back a little smaller, but full of energy and eager to work. Our third office, the CBA, reopened on October 1st, 1971, on the last floor at BNB Building, where we stayed for 2 wonderful years. We had such wonderful activities, even though we had so little space. Our fourth office. The CBA rented a house on Arce Avenue. We worked and made the CBA big in 5 years at that house. Home. Thanks to Luis Falino, Raúl Barragán, and the board of directors, we obtained a loan from the bank. 121 Arce Avenue officially became home to the CBA. A lot has happened since then. The CBA library was opened again. The CBA choir could once again sing. The CBA is part of many cultural events in our city. Our cultural program has improved so much in so little time. We have 2 graduations a year. We have more and more students every month. Joan Saslow and many other writers visit the CBA. These last 2 years have been particularly different due to the COVID-19 pandemic we are living now. But we have demonstrated that the real value of our institution is not on things as properties, but in every single person who works at the CBA. We all make the difference every day. Now, our future is brilliant. Now, our glory awaits. Now is the time.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here with us today. We are pleased to be able to welcome those of you that have been with us for years now, as well as those who are new to the CBA community. I am Jose Manuel Mendivil, Academic Director of CBA La Paz and organizer of this event. Talking about history in the making, some years ago, our CBA had to face with a very difficult situation, but two very brave people decided to take the bull by the horns, and they were appointed directors. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to our Executive Director, Mr. Franz Gutierrez, and our Administrative Director, Mr. Harry Tapia. Mr. Franz Gutierrez will inaugurate this conference. Mr. Franz Gutierrez, the audience is all yours. Franz, it seems your microphone is not working.
Ahora sí, perdón, lo siento. No me había fijado en el micrófono. Quería decirles buenos días, querida familia, amigos, colegas. Les doy la bienvenida a una nueva etapa post-pandemia. Hemos esquivado lo malo y el presente va mejorando. Esta nueva etapa nos permite seguir mejorando y debe ser el objetivo para todos y cada uno de nosotros, especialmente ahora que somos número 1. Mis abrazos para llenarles de energía y positivismo. Adelante con el trabajo y sigamos así.
Great,
Gracias.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, despite the fact that the COVID-19 pandemic has struck so hard, CBA La Paz managed to overcome every difficult situation. In fact, we have been awarded for our job. CBA La Paz received the Maya Award 2 years in a row, 2020, 2021, and there's a high probability that we'll receive the Maya Award again this year. Well, besides all the CBA's staff work, the brains behind all of this is our Administrative Director, Mr. Harry Tapia. Harry, what has been done for our job to be recognized like this?
Well, first of all, welcome to this third virtual conference, this virtual academic conference. Thank you to all that will participate in this conference. And I think it's very important to recognize that this kind of activities join or gather a lot of people from different backgrounds, right? The teachers of the CBA, future teachers from La Paz and all over the country. I would like to also emphasize the fact that we have special guests today, the other CBAs, CBA Sucre, CBA Tarija, CBA Cochabamba, and we have also guests from CBA Santa Cruz, and it really fills my heart with joy when we have the CBA community in this kind of events. I would like to welcome them and extend the celebration of this academic activity with them also. As Jose Manuel said, well, CBA La Paz has been awarded the Maya Award 2 years in a row. And well, let me break the news today. Today, Friday, they will confirm that we are winners for the third time. We are going to be awarded the Maya award again. And I think that's going to be an amazing achievement for all of us because we've been working hard towards this objective. And I would like to also congratulate Jose Manuel for this wonderful event. I'm sure we're going to leave these sessions with more knowledge, with more experiences, and we're going to take something important to our classrooms, didactics, methodologies, I don't know, lots of important things to apply and to become better teachers. Thank you for the space and welcome to CBA virtual conferences.
Your microphone. I can hear you. We can hear you.
Good morning, everyone. Jose Manuel, your microphone is muted.
We can't hear you, Jose
Oh
Manuel.
my goodness, I'm really sorry. Things like this happen when you are streaming live. Well, as I was saying, I was introducing you to Mrs. Mary Bloom, Academic Director of CBA Cochabamba, Mrs. Raquel Torrico, Academic Director of CBA Sucre, and Mr. Juan Pablo Merino, Academic Director of CBA Tarija. Thank you very much for being here. It's a real pleasure to have you here. After a long time, CBAs from different cities in Bolivia decided to work and grow together, and it's a pleasure for me to have you as a special guests. I have a question for you. In which ways do you think ELT education has changed?
Well,
Hi, can I start?
yeah,
Sorry.
you can start, Raquel.
All right, thank you very much. Well, first of all, thank you very much for the invitation, Manuel. Congratulations for such a great conference. And yeah, you know, we're kind of missing the way to see each other, which was in person in the past, right? I remember that, I think it was in 2019, the last time that we participated in a in-person conference in the past, and the same happened here in Sucre. But it's okay, you know, we can do it. We can do it. So, going to the question that you just made, well, you know, as Franz said, you know, the outbreak of the COVID-19 has hastened changes to the English teaching, right? The English teaching learning, but not only English teaching, I would say education in general. Some of these changes are positive and some others are not that positive, right? For example, among the positive ones, we can talk about the experience that we're having in literacy and digital competence, right? That's happening to all teachers and also students. Okay, but these changes have not started, you know, with the pandemic. These changes have started before that. That's something good about ELT, you know. ELT has always been evolving, right? Changing, finding new trends in the way of teaching English as a foreign and a second language, right? So nowadays we have many technological resources, right? And these technological resources are helping us, you know, as teachers and also our students to get our objectives, you know, which are to teach and to learn, right? So as I said, we have some positive and some negative aspects. I would like to mention, you know, some negative aspects. And the first one that comes to my mind, it is that, you know, somehow we're losing a little bit the social emotional part, you know, in our classes, because it's not the same, you know, as seeing your students, you know, like in person, talking to them and see what's going on with them, and you know, helping them somehow, right? That doesn't happen when we have, you know, a screen, when we're seeing them, you know, we don't know how they're feeling, if they're tired. So these aspects that we need to work on, right? So that is something that I can say. I'm sorry, Mary, continue, please.
Yeah, no problem. Well, I agree with what you said before, but I think not only education, not only English teaching or language teaching, and not only education has changed, but our lives have changed. yeah, in every aspect. And I think that we have become a little bit more, we have acquired a little bit more expertise on the use of technology, on the use of the different tools that we have now. We can, as you said before, it's kind of a contradiction, Raquel, because we are not in person. We don't have that close relationship with our students on one hand, but on the other hand, we can reach people from much farther away. We have students from other cities, from our provinces, even from from different countries. No, so it on one hand it gets us a little bit more apart, but on the other hand, it brings us together with people that we have never before we were able to do so. But I have been thinking about this question a lot, and my conclusion is that in spite of technology, in spite of all the effort that teachers and students make all the time in order to acquire the universal language that we luckily teach, in that, but I think that nothing of that is so important as the attitude of the people who are involved in education, teachers and students. If we don't have teachers that really understand what they have in their hands, the transmission of this language, or students that don't really get the idea of what they are acquiring, that is not going to function as we would like to. So we need the attitude of the teachers and of the students in order to really get our goals. So I think that's the more important part, the human part, through technology or in person. I think that's the basic thing.
Thank you very much, Mary. Juan Pablo, what do you think?
Hello, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. And well, it's a very, very good question. And I think that we've all been struggling and dealing with technology and challenges throughout this pandemic. The thing is that nobody was prepared at the beginning for the virtual education. So as Mary was saying, I think the human effort that everyone and each one of us has developed and put for teaching, it's what it's most important today. Because if it wasn't for the effort of our teachers, of our institutions, we wouldn't be able to continue educating our students. It is important to mention also that engagement in virtual classroom has been a tremendous challenge, not only because we have to compete with the resources that we already have available, but we have to compete with the cell phones, with the WhatsApp that kids have at hand, and the attention, the span of attention is very, very short. So teachers have to be very creative, very dynamic to keep students motivated. And these techniques are here to stay. Teachers are now, like YouTube stars or podcast stars, because they are continuously, improving themselves, and that's something that we need to promote and continue growing. And for me, this is one of the greatest aspects of virtual education, you know?
I totally agree with what Juan Pablo and Mary said, and of course, what changed, according to our experience, it is a little bit the role of teachers, right? Because we have to think about two crucial factors, that have shifted during this pandemic. One of them is the pedagogical one, because we have to adapt, our teaching. We have to have this pedagogical adaptation, which has proved to be fundamental, right? Fundamental as the traditional lecturing in-person models that do not translate to a remote learning environment. Another one it is, that this pandemic recalibrated how teachers divide their time, as you said, between teaching, families, engaging with students, even, having some administrative tasks. Don't forget that we need to plan lessons, we need to evaluate students, blah 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 blah. Submit some type of work, to our institutions, etc. So it has also highlighted, this is something that I think it's important, that there is a need for flexibility. Once more, I would like to mention that this social emotional support is important, right? We need to have more time for student-teacher interaction. That's something that somehow, the virtual lessons, the online lessons do not allow us to have with our students. But of course, that's not impossible. And of course, we need to also think about a big change that we have to do in assessment and evaluation. Well, some things that have been happening already. As I said before, these changes are not that new, because the use of technology in teaching English has not started. I mean, did not start like 2019 or 2020. It started before, right? The use of different platforms, the use of CD-ROMs, the use of applications, right? And of course, I cannot say that we were 100% ready for these changes, but somehow we were, right? And that was thanks to the help of many institutions. Well, one institution in particular, which is the American Embassy, right? They gave us a lot of webinars. These webinars open our eyes to new things, new trends in teaching. We have tech camps, where our participants learned a lot about different applications to be used in our classes in person, and these applications in our in-person classes, motivated our students to do a very good job. And now we're putting all this in practice, right? And of course, as Juan Pablo said, all this is here to stay. But we need to have more changes. We need to think about more changes. As I said before, something that worries us here, in Sucre, for example, it is that emotional part, the emotional part, to see your students, to see what's going on, and to know how to help them. This one-on-one resource, or, it's something that we need to work on a lot.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. And talking about the American Embassy, our first guest is ready for his plenary session. We're running out of time. I'm really sorry. And I really hope that with this conference, we address all of these situations, the situations that the academic directors mentioned. At CVA La Paz, we're going back to classes very soon, to face-to-face classes. So it was a real pleasure to have you here. Thank you very much, Mary, Raquel, Juan Pablo. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It was nice, and congratulations for this great conference. Thank you very much. See you.
Thank you very much. Hugs from Sucre.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, now the people who have had my back all the time these years are my teacher counselors. I couldn't do anything without them. Now they will help me as moderators, and you will see them in every webinar session we'll have. With you, Ms. Mariela Chino, Mrs. Estela Elias.
Good morning,
Mrs.
everyone.
Daniela Mendoza, and Mrs. Cynthia Middle. Well, thank you very much for
Good
being
morning.
here. So we have just 1 minute. So what are we going to see in this conference? Very fast. Marielita.
Well, we were going to see the bridge between knowing the language and being able to use it properly. And we're going to try to help our students to use it in a very holistic way, not only for their everyday life, but also for their professional life. We're going also to be observing the difference between teaching online and having this transition to these face-to-face classes. And with that, we're going to have also some tools that are going to help us evaluate our students better. And you know that we were dealing a lot in these online classes with the participation and so on with our students, or to have our students participate a bit more. So we are going to be sharing some strategies and some techniques to have our students participate a little bit more. So that's a very brief summary of what we are going to be seeing in the first part.
Estelita.
Good morning, everyone. We are also going to see how social networking has gained more and more space in education, and how it could be used in our classes in order to make it very valuable for the learning process. We are also going to listen to a speaker talk about formative exams. And it is we know how important in the planning of our lessons, and we are going to see some ideas on how to use it very effectively. And also we are going to talk about styles, right? Every teacher, every class has its own style. So we will have some speakers talk about the different styles and how important it is to incorporate your own style when teaching. Thank you very much.
Daniela, what about you? What can you tell us?
Well, hello, and we are going to see different things related to the cognitive theory of multimedia, how this works with words. We are going to build connections between words and pictures. We are going to see how important it is and how useful it is to use graphic organizers in class. We are going to see how much they can contribute to our classes, to the environment, to activities, and more. And we will also see what motivates students besides the communicating values, beliefs. We are going to see everything with culture. So we are going to see how important culture is when learning a language.
Well, thank you very much. Cynthia?
Hi, good morning. Well, basically, we're going to talk about the ideal English language educator and how these teachers impact different educators and students on their language acquisition. We are also going to have the hands-on approach to teaching English, and we're going to be presented with comprehensive plans for evolving education to meet the needs of the 21st century society, including strategies to train learners to become productive team players and problem solvers. And also, we are going to have a very nice tool to work with, which is the podcasts, and the importance of using this tool to practice listening, speaking, and writing skills based on different podcast topics.
Well, thank you very much. In this virtual conference, we will also take a glance at blended learning and how it can be implemented in an ELT classroom. Since all learners are different and unique regarding their abilities, interests, and talents, we'll also find ways to best teach them in their uniqueness. Besides that, we will learn how to apply active listening strategies so that we can connect better with our students, know their backgrounds, and introduce the importance of raising cultural awareness. Finally, we learn how to work together with students towards solutions which help foster social learning. As Mrs. Raquel Torrico, we cannot leave out the social and emotional part. We'll see the background of task-based language learning and social learning in order to encourage students to make their learning more personal, creative, and social. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. Our first plenary session with Mr. Gonzalo Fortun will begin in a moment. Thank you very much. I hope that you enjoyed this event. Thank you.